book 25 in 2019 was Mentors by Russell Brand. I don't really know what I was expecting from this one. I kind of thought that he was going to talk about having mentors in our lives and how they are quite useful and how you could be a mentor. And I guess he does do this, but in typical Russell Brand style, he kind of chats a lot, superfluously, is that the right word? Convolutedly. And I don't think he's doing it intentionally, like I don't think he's that kind of person, but it's just the way he speaks. I don't think he understands that it's a little bit like there's not much substance to what he's saying. It's like, you know, can you distill it and give me the concentrated version of what you're saying, because that would save me a lot of time. You know, the book's quite, you know, it's got quite a lot of chapters, and he goes through like mentors that he's had and what they've kind of done for him. But each chapter could be condensed to like a sentence, like this is the mentor and this is what they did for me. The rest of it is like biography. It's very autobiographical, it's very kind of memoirish. And it's like if you'd have told me, okay, this is a memoir about the mentors in my life and what they've done for me, that would have been fine. I'd have been okay with that. And maybe that's just my fault for not looking at like what the book actually was about. But I was kind of wanting some information about mentors and how that would be quite useful. But then maybe that's kind of given me an indication of my preference for my next read, to find something about mentors. I think it's an interesting concept, mentors, in that we can accelerate our growth in whatever we're doing, personal growth, development, whatever, if we have people that are a little bit further on the path than we are, but not so far that we become a burden to them. And I think I'm of an age now where I kind of feel that role of becoming a mentor to younger people, or even to older people that aren't as far along the path of self-development as what I perhaps am. So I guess that's probably what attracted me to the book in the first place. So I think I was just a little bit disappointed that I wanted to know more about it, but he didn't really provide me with anything. He kind of structures it around the philosophy of the 12 steps of, you know, becoming sober, or whatever. He talks a lot about like kind of that. I mean, I can't really remember much detail from it, because there wasn't anything that was like, oh wow, that's amazing. Like, he just literally is chatting about people that he's met in his life and how they've, you know, been a mentor to him. I think there was one that he was talking about that was like fulfilling that kind of mother role to him, in kind of like a nurturing, loving kind of way. And I think, you know, we find people in our lives that fulfill holes that we've created ourselves through life, through rejecting certain parts of ourselves, and it's kind of interesting that we seek certain people out for those reasons. And you know, he was saying like when he was in relationships with people and he wasn't developed enough to kind of have a loving relationship with someone, and that he needs to go to therapy, and for that therapist to kind of mentor him in how to communicate and accept the other person. So, and I think we all kind of need that. I think, you know, the reason my divorce rate is so high, I think, is because everyone thinks that marriage is easy and that everyone knows how to do it and everyone knows how to be in a relationship with someone for, you know, a long time, when they don't. Like, people change so much within the space of a couple of years that unless you're willing to kind of accept that change and evolve with that person, then your relationship won't survive, because the person that you choose, that you decide, yeah, I want to be this person or whatever, will change. That you can't stop that. It's growth. It's, you know, evolving into something new. So you have to kind of be open-minded to that change that might come, and that you might not like the newer version of the person, but, you know, they might change again, and whatever, you should be loving and kind and accepting of that change that person's chosen to, you know, have happen to them. So I thought that was quite interesting. I mean, you know, you think about it, we learn a lot of our kind of culture and whatever from people around us, and I think as our society gets less connected in a physical sense, obviously more it's connected on kind of social media, but we're less connected as a physical, you know, one-on-one sense. We don't open up as much, we don't talk about things as much, we don't allow the people to guide us and mentor us in certain things. We think we're very self-sufficient now, and we kind of think, oh, we can do it ourselves, and we've got access to media and books and things like that, so we could find out stuff ourselves. But actually what you need is someone who's got experience in an area. You know, Russell Brand does say, find someone that's got something that you want, something that you want to be like, or whatever, and learn from them. Like, you know, be open with that person that, you know, I want to be like that. can you help me with that? And that's kind of like really kind of useful to be like that. I mean, I recently went to just a random run club, never been before, just started speaking to people, found out that two of the people were working at a university, and I was like, oh, that's fortuitous, because I want to work at a university, because I want to do a PhD, and they'd just done a PhD, and one of them was still doing a PhD, and I was like, great, like, can you help me out? Like, and I was completely open and honest about the fact that I hadn't got a clue what I was doing, and help would be really grateful. And then she took my email and she emailed me with loads of helpful links and things, and it's like, so she fulfilled that mentor role for me, because I saw that in someone else, yes, I want to be like that, and I was like, how can you help me in that area? And so I was inquisitive and asked loads of questions and whatever, and then they came back with and being very helpful about it. You know, people like to help others, and if they feel like they have got something that you are wanting to aspire to, they will help you. You know, most people will anyway. You know, I could have just been resentful and jealous that they've done it and I haven't done it, whatever, but that's not going to get me anywhere, is it? Like, and I would never be like that anyway, but some people do take that role, don't they? Whereas actually that person's got something that they can teach you and that they can offer you, so you should be open to it. So I think, you know, people underestimate the potential worth of asking other people questions and getting them to teach you things that you don't already know yet. Like, be open, be curious, be, you know, find stuff out like that, and then obviously give that back to society. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I wrote in my review about it that I can talk about. Yeah. Oh, the other thing was that he was saying that mentors are really good if you are in a situation and you're not really quite sure what to do, or you know what you want to do but you're like, I don't really think I should do that. But you're a little bit kind of iffy, that you could ask a mentor and be like, okay, you know me, like, am I kind of doing the right thing here? And I think we don't do this enough. I know some people obviously do if they've got really good close friendships with people, but I do not ask other people for advice ever, because I don't trust other people's advice because of their own viewpoints and things like that. And I think I used to have a really, really close friend that I've been friends with for years who did really know me, and I did used to ask her for advice. So I guess I have done that as well, yeah. But I think you've got to be very careful, like, who you trust to be a mentor if it's in that situation. But what they were saying is it's really good because he texted out like to a few people, okay, this is the situation, this is what I want to do, and they text back and they went, don't do it, don't do that, and stopped him from doing that. And so that it's almost like you've got default programming that you've had from when you were younger or whatever, and mentors give you that opposite kind of viewpoint and kind of get you to override that natural programming that you've got and be like, okay, maybe you should think about this in a different way. And then that allows you to kind of reprogram your brain. Like, I don't think that you can really reprogram your thoughts on your own. I think that's a really challenging thing, and I think this is why therapy is so important. Like, even if you're not mentally unwell, therapy is really good for you because it overrides like natural default programming that you've got, that you've learned. It's not natural, but that you've learned it as you were younger and whatever. And it's difficult to override that without somebody else's viewpoint and somebody else's kind of like challenging and like me sure. Like, one of the mentors that Brand talks about is that it was a woman who she would just ask questions, and these questions would get him to rethink his opinions about things and challenge the way that he was thinking, and that was really useful to him. And I think we all need somebody who asks us something that gets us to like stop and think, oh, actually, oh, I never thought of it like that, or yeah, maybe that is a better way of thinking about it, or maybe I should think about it in that way in a bit more detail or whatever. And I kind of find myself fulfilling that role for other people sometimes, because I'm very inquisitive and very curious, and I'm wanting to understand another person's viewpoint that's different to mine. So I usually ask people questions, or I'll say certain things that like challenge what they've just said, rather than judging them for it. I don't judge people for what they say, but I kind of like ask questions to kind of get an understanding, and in doing that I think they kind of see things from their own point of view and then from mine, and then that helps them to develop as well. And I do that with my students and stuff. They'll say that it's funny because you forget when you were younger you had certain maybe stereotypical views about things, and as soon as I ask a question with no judgment, I just ask a question and it completely challenges what they just said, and they're like, oh, actually, yeah, I never thought about it like that. I was teaching recently about we teach a study about advertisements and how there's a lot of gender stereotypes in advertisements because they're aimed at boys and they're aimed at girls, kind of almost kind of telling us what a girl should be and what a boy should be, and what kind of role we should be fulfilling. And I can't remember right now what the questions were because it was a couple of weeks ago, but like I literally just asked questions and then they were like, oh yeah, and it's like that. It's really, it's like the Socrates kind of method of questioning where you highlight your own folly in response to a question. So yeah, it's a really interesting technique to use with people if you haven't already done that, if you want to fulfil a mentor role. I guess I because of my job, I'm in that role kind of anyway. But yeah, there wasn't much to the book, but I guess like I said, it kind of stimulated me to think of other books that might give me a little bit more information, because I think I need more mentors in my life to get me to the next level of where I'm going. I think my progress is quite slow because I don't have anyone to guide me. I'm always in the kind of mentor role guiding other people, but there's nobody really guiding me. Like, I always read a lot and you know, I have quite a lot of wisdom, I would say, that other people don't really seem to have. I mean, maybe it's deep down and they're just not expressing it, how that's what it is. You know, so I need to find myself some mentors, don't I? But it's really challenging, I guess. They say it, don't they? If you're the most intelligent person in the room, find a new room. I'm finding a new room, so hopefully I'll find myself some mentors that can help me out. But obviously that was just an example. You know, you can have mentors that are, like I said before, nurturing and stuff. I think that's a good mentor to have as well, isn't it? How to be more loving and kind to people, and like have like a spiritual kind of mentor as well. That'd be awesome. So yeah, the book was alright. If you like Russell Brand, then you'll love it, because you know, I think he's a bit like Marmite, isn't it? You either love him or hate him. Although having said that, I don't hate him, but I didn't love the book either. I need more substance, I need more like stuff to dig my teeth into, and there wasn't much in it really. Like I said, it was memoir, it was very self-indulgent in that way, and if it had been branded as that, then I would have been fine with that, but it wasn't. It was kind of missold to me, if you will, so yeah, a little bit disappointed.